Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, your favorite place for hauls, home decor, and all things homemaking. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. And for those of you returning, we appreciate your support. This week's video is going to be some of my favorite food items that I choose now that I've transitioned into being a pescatarian. It has now been almost 2 full months because as of January 1st of this year, I decided that I would refrain from eating meat. Now, this does not mean it's going to be forever. However, for now, I feel that limiting my eating to simply seafoods and vegetarian options has worked out great thus far, so I'm gonna keep it going and let's see how long it lasts. However, I know that there's a big misconception that it's quite costly to have this type of lifestyle, but I wanted to share with you some food items and some meal suggestions that would be really great if you yourself are thinking about shifting into becoming a pescatarian. So if you'd like to hear some of the options I've chosen, stay tuned. Let's first define what it is to be a pescatarian. So my lifestyle, and this is my eating habits I'm referring to, I have made the decision to shift to this because I find that when I refrain from eating poultry, it really allows me to enjoy a meal without feeling tired, or a level of exhaustion after, without feeling like I've maybe overindulged. I find that if I ever have a vegetarian dish or a seafood only dish, I feel satisfied and I don't feel that heavy feeling. So making the decision to become a pescatarian, which is typically someone who eats vegetarian dishes as well as all types of seafood. So you've got your tuna, your salmon, your shrimp, shelled fish, non-shelled fish, anything seafood, sign me up. So this is like an awesome experience for me. However, I do find that a lot of people that hear about a pescatarian lifestyle assume that it could be very costly, and that's not necessarily the case. Yes, it can be costly if you're choosing to eat, lobster on a regular basis, whether it be for 1 or 2 meals a day, or if you're choosing to have salmon, filleted salmon rather. If you're choosing these more expensive seafood options, then yes, it does tend to get a bit costly. However, for me, I choose to incorporate seafood into 2 of the 3 meals a day. And the majority of the time, it's 1 of the 3 meals a day. Now, let's start off with breakfast. Typically for breakfast, I'm still continuing my intermittent fasting. For those of you who have been following me for a while, I love you, and you know that I've been doing intermittent fasting, so I eat between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. So breakfast for me is really some tea. I usually break my fast with typically a smoothie or a salad. Now, if I'm having a salad, I will choose to have maybe a little bit of seafood in there, or I won't, and it's fine. I can still get my proteins through snacks during the day, whether it be some peanuts, or maybe in my salads, I may include beans, or I love anchovies in my salads. So of course, that's a seafood option, and I feel that that is definitely satisfying for the meat portion for me for lunch. Now for dinner, I tend to go a little bit heavier, right? So now that's where I'm actually eating a piece of fish, or I may have maybe a piece of lobster, but not as often, or some shrimp. However, I don't have to have a meat every single night for dinner. Sometimes I choose to just have a vegetarian option. I may just have maybe some string beans and mashed potatoes, and maybe I'll have a side salad, and that is good enough for me. So I don't necessarily require a meat, if you will, in every single meal. So with that, it automatically brings your costs down as far as meal to meal costs and over daily costs, right? Now, let's dig into some of my favorite options. And again, there are many more options, but these are some of my favorites that I love to choose when it comes to shopping for both seafood options, meat options, and some of my vegetarian options. Let's start off with vegetables. So I'll give you some suggestions on things that how I like to prepare some of these options. However, my first is going to be mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Interestingly enough, for those of you that follow us on Instagram, you know that my 6-year-old has a very extensive palate. She loves to eat lots of different things, but she does not like mushrooms, and I love mushrooms. So I will tell you that this, I put less and less in my meals, but what I'll do is if I just really crave some, I'll make sure to chop them fairly large so I can pull them out when I'm giving it to her, because she really loves the majority of food items that I purchase, but mushrooms is just not one of them. Now, my favorite, I love to get the portobello mushrooms because I feel like, you know, you'll hear that this is like the steak for the vegans, right? It's a very meaty and thick vegetable. You can do this in so many different ways. You can grill it. Oh, it's so good to just grill it. And then you can also grill some asparagus if it's the summertime. And I love to do like vegetarian kebabs. And this, I love to just keep whole instead of adding it on the kebabs. You know, season it with a little salt and pepper, and that goes a long way. This is a delicious option, or you can add it, you can also chop it up and add it into pasta. Okay, that's just a couple out of the many options and the ways that you can do it. I also love to chop it up with stir fry. When I'm doing a stir fry vegan meat that I love to include the portobello mushrooms. Another one that I absolutely love, shiitake mushrooms. Now, I will tell you, both of these mushrooms I did purchase at Trader Joe's. You'll hear me toggling between Trader Joe's and Walmart. These shiitake mushrooms, I love to add in soup. Oh, so good. Also, amazing in stir fry as well. You add this with some carrots, or you add them with some string beans. Add a little oyster sauce, or oyster sauce, soy sauce, teriyaki mix. Throw in a little bit of honey in there to cut the acidity. Oh, amazing, delicious. And you can have that with some over some jasmine rice. Keep it simple and you will absolutely enjoy that. And again, you don't necessarily need the meat, but if you decide that you want to have meat incorporated into it, and when I say meat, I don't literally mean meat, I just mean a meat option. So like when I'm saying meat within this conversation, we're talking like seafood options. If you want to include it, you can. You can always just add in some shrimp, right? Or you can maybe chop some large chunks of salmon, add that in. That's an awesome option as well. Or you can make the vegetables and then just kind of blacken your salmon, or blacken some tilapia and just lay that vegetable right over it with some jasmine rice, or just by itself, or with some mashed potatoes. I'm getting, like, my mouth is watering, and that will be delicious. Next up, I have tricolor carrots. Now these I also picked up. I mean, just look how the lighting is picking up the colors on this. You've got your purple carrots, you've got your white carrots, and then your regular orange carrots, right? Now, I love this just aesthetically on that plate. When you take some of these, you chop the, you skin them, you chop them up, throw them in the oven with some red potatoes. Cut the red potatoes in half or in quarters, depending on how large they are. Drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil, some salt, and fresh cracked pepper, and you let that bake on maybe like 400. Let it get some nice color. To die for. Or if you want to do it stovetop, you can chop them up, once again large. You can chop up some fresh string beans, add a little garlic. You know I love like 87 cloves of garlic in everything. So you add some of that, and you put in a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, some Italian seasoning, and that's an amazing meal. I mean, literally, just by itself, I could eat that, honestly. Even the one that's oven baked, the oven baked option of, you could even add some Brussels sprouts, the tricolor carrots, and some mushrooms. Oh my gosh. So good. You can eat it by itself. You don't even need anything else, but you can also do the tricolor carrots, as I mentioned, in the oven with some Brussels sprouts and some red potatoes, and you just get that nice and crispy. Or you can even put the red potatoes in the air fryer. Again, you don't need anything else with it. To me, I wouldn't even need anything else. But if you want to add maybe a little tilapia on the side, or a piece of salmon on the side, or some shrimp on the side, quickly stir fried, again, an amazing meal, and you don't even need a rice or pasta to go with that. Okay, folks, the next vegetable I have, let's talk beans. Now, beans are really a protein. You can use that to substitute any type of meat. So sometimes for example, my mother is a vegetarian. My dad is also a vegetarian. He does not really like the smell of seafood. So the majority of their day-to-day meals include vegetarian options. However, my mother does eat seafood. So whenever she comes to visit, she's always like, everything you make me includes seafood, because she wants to get her dose or overdose, if you will, of seafood while she's in Atlanta. Now, I will tell you, while she is in New York, they are still chock full of protein because they have a lot of beans. I love beans. Now, let me tell you the millions of options I have for you on this. Now, I'm sharing here red and black beans. I also love garbanzo beans. As you know, my family is from Trinidad, and we call them chickpeas. We could eat curry chickpeas and potato. You can make that in one pot. You could have that over a bed of rice, or you could have it with some roti, whether it's bus up shut or dal puri. That tastes amazing. You could also do it masala style. Trader Joe's has an amazing masala sauce, comes ready-made. You just add a little heavy cream to there. You mix that in with some of those potatoes cut up and some of the chickpeas, and you have that over a bed of rice. Or you can have that by itself, or maybe you want to eat it with some naan. Amazing, right? Again, those are all vegetarian options. We've not even incorporated any type of seafood yet. Another option is if you're doing like a taco night, right? And you want to do your black beans, or you may even season up your black beans and have them incorporated into your salad for lunch, or as a side salad for dinner if you're doing like a Southwestern style. That's awesome as well. Another option is you can stew the red beans. You can have the red beans by itself. You can stew them with whatever seasonings you use to stew. I have typically used, if I'm doing a vegetarian version of stewed chicken, of course I'm not gonna use a chicken, so I would just do stewed potatoes and include some of the beans, and then you can have that over some rice as well. Or again, you can eat that by itself and it is amazing. Another option is you can do a bean salad. Now within the bean salad, you can have some string beans, and you could do canned string beans for this. You could do the canned chickpeas and some of the small red beans. You mix it up with some apple cider vinegar, some sugar, a little bit of olive oil. You let that sit. I usually like to let that sit outside of the fridge for an entire day. Let it really incorporate all of those ingredients, and you've got an amazing bean salad. And that bean salad, honey, you can have it as a side dish. You can just include it over your salad, and then you don't even need dressing, and it tastes amazing. So those are just some options for your beans. Let's get into another bean option, soybeans. Now, this has literally become my favorite snack of the moment. Now, these come as a 6-pack, and you do have the option, I got this at Walmart, you have the option to microwave these, or you can, and they come in a pouch. As you can see, I've already dug into this one. But I love that they come in like a pouch, right? So sometimes if I know that I have meetings all day long, things are just running really fast, and I just want something that's gonna satisfy me, I love these as an option. They come in the pod, okay? And what I love to do personally, and it takes literally 5 minutes, I like to start off the pan with a little bit of butter, add a little bit of, because you know, again, if it's in between calls, you don't have time to chop up garlic and such, right? Add a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and you can do a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of chili oil. Let this simmer for maybe 5 or 7 minutes. Let those flavors incorporate into the edamame. Pour that into a bowl. You get right back onto your next call, and you're just eating them, and they're so good. And this is chock full of protein. So this is definitely one of my favorite snacks to have. And the last vegetable that I wanted to share with you is gonna be the vegetable melange. Now this is one from Trader Joe's. I love this mixture. Here's another thing that I love about it. If you're not a cook, this is the option for you. It does come in the frozen aisle. It comes with cauliflower, you've got your green peas in there, carrots, some parsley, and your corn. What I love about this is it comes seasoned, even with the butter in it. So you can just literally drop this into a pot, let it heat up. Still has a good bite to it, which I love, because sometimes some frozen vegetables get really mushy. This still has a bite to it. You can have this as a side dish. You can put it over your salad. My mom loves it over her salad. She always loves to have some sort of warm protein. So she loves to have like warm beans, even if it's on the side with her salad, or she will warm these up in the pot real quick, 2 or 3 minutes tops, and then just put it right over her salad, and she doesn't even need a dressing. So this is another great option. Another option, if it's for dinner, maybe you just want to make some mashed potatoes on the side and have this. Again, you can have this with some shrimp. You can even have this as a vegetable. And if you're having maybe crab legs that night, or oh my gosh, you know, one of my other things of the moment are mussels. So if you're having some mussels, you can have this as your vegetable on the side. Awesome choice, and takes 2 to 3 minutes to make. Okay, now that we're done with the vegetable options, let's get into our main meat options. Okay, so again, these are all non-meat options. They're seafood or your vegan meat options. All right, so the first one up is going to be shrimp. This is extra large shrimp that I got at the Walmart near me, and this is $6. I mean, very affordable. I would say within this, you're getting a good 20 pieces of shrimp. If you were doing a stir fry, I love to do stir fry shrimp. I will add fresh string beans, cut them up. You'll have some garlic, some red peppers, green peppers, onions. You're stretching it, right? This is what I'm sharing with you. This is a way for you to make it delicious, healthy, but more affordable. Because if you make shrimp by itself, you could probably eat this by yourself in 2 sittings, right? Because it's about 20 pieces of shrimp. However, if you're stretching it with vegetables, then you could probably make this 4 portions, okay? And so, you know, you may not want to eat it every single night the same thing, but the great thing is that if you're having it for your family and it's like, let's say 3 adults and 1 child, you don't feel that you have to have 2 or 3 bags of shrimp to be able to feed your family. You can do this shrimp, add some chopped up garlic, some onions, red peppers, green peppers, get some Szechuan sauce in there. If you have a family that does not do well with spicy foods, maybe you're just adding a little teriyaki. One of my favorite like Asian style quick mixes, if you will, would be some teriyaki sauce, soy sauce, oyster sauce, add a little bit of honey, put that in the microwave for 10 seconds so that honey can be able to mix and incorporate into the rest of that. And then, you know, hoisin sauce as well. Of course, you know, that's the Japanese barbecue sauce. I absolutely love it. So I love to add that in as well. I usually add it in after it's come out of the microwave. That is the perfect base for a great shrimp stir fry. You get your shrimp, you get your fresh string beans, cut those up, cut up some carrots. You could even do the tricolor carrots we talked about. Or if you just want to stick to your regular carrots, that's fine. Add that in with your onions, red, green peppers, and that soy sauce you add, soy teriyaki, hoisin, honey, and teriyaki sauce. You incorporate that and add that in at the end. You will love it. The other tip I want to give you when it comes to shrimp, shrimp cooks fast. If you see that your shrimp looks like this when it's done, you've cooked it too much. You're not making a well-done steak, okay? You want to put your shrimp in regardless of what you're making in like the last 2 or 3 minutes of taking off the pot. Because if you put it in after the garlic, and you know, usually you add the garlic and onions like first, that shrimp is gonna be so tightly coiled, it should be like it should look like this. When it looks like that, oh, it's cooked perfectly, okay? So make sure you add it in the last 2 or 3 minutes before you turn off that stove and dig into your meal. Next up, we've got the Impossible meat. Now, we've got Impossible meat. I'm also going to bring in this one, which is the beefless ground beef that I talk about. I'm going to link up here my Trader Joe's beefless nachos, which is to die for. But I want to clarify on when you should use which one. If you're thinking about a vegetarian meatloaf, if you're thinking about making burgers, okay, this is the best option for you. I actually love it even better than Beyond the Meat. Beyond the Meat is awesome. Do not get me wrong. Gardein, G-A-R-D-E-I-N, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I say Gardein. That is a no-go for me. I don't like the way the meat tastes. Like their meat crumbles, it's just too soft. It doesn't give the real consistency of meat. However, these two give excellent consistency of meat. However, this one I would stick to if I'm making burgers on the grill or even inside, or if I'm doing some sort of meatloaf. However, this one is great for your lasagnas. This one is great for taco meat. Oh, so good. Even a mix is great for taco meat, believe it or not. But I would refrain from you trying to make this into like a burger because it's not going to bind. This gives you the ground beef or turkey binding qualities that you need to make a really good burger. Now, when it comes to burgers, if you are going breadless, because as you know, shameless plug, we are in the midst of our 30-day challenge. So for my girls that are trying to get summertime fine, you know that we're trying to limit our carbs, right? If that's the diet you're going after. If not, that's fine. So you eat your Impossible Burger with your bread and you love it. However, if you want to do an option without that, you can always get your unchopped kale, the large leaves, and you can make it a kale burger. Or you can make a salad and just lay your burger right on top and then you dig right in. Or if you do want a little bit of bread, but you don't want to have all of the calories of a full bun, then you can always just do an open sandwich and just have one slice of bread, and you can still enjoy that as well with a little lettuce, tomato, mayo. I even love to add a little fried cheese instead of regular cheese. It will change your life into the burger. It's amazing. So those are the options that I would share with you when you're putting together a burger. For the tacos, again, if you're trying to do less carbs, you can put everything that constitutes a taco minus the taco shell into a bowl and kind of make it like a taco salad, and it will be absolutely delicious. And the piece de resistance is the tilapia. I absolutely love these. I know some people will say this is not the best option. However, this to me, if you're trying to be a little bit more cost effective, this is the large bag. It is 4 pounds. It typically comes with about, I'd say about 15 to 20 pieces of fish in here. This is definitely a great option. It costs between $12 and $14. I picked this up at Walmart. It is the Great Value brand. I love it. I love it. I make it in so many different ways. If you want fish tacos, you can go ahead and make that, season it up with some taco seasoning, and then just break it up, if you will, by hand. Put it into your tacos with a little lettuce, some guacamole, or just some sliced avocado, some tomatoes, cilantro. You've got a dream of a meal, okay? Or if you want to do this as your main meat, you can do maybe 2 slices, because the slices are fairly small. And I like to do 2 pieces of fish if I'm making a salad and it's dinner time. I'll make 2 of those, and then I have my salad on the side, and my salad is just as important as the fish. I usually beef up my salad and have lots of different things in there. I'm not just talking lettuce and tomato. I will be doing a video, so be on the lookout for that. I will be doing a video that includes how to make a salad fun, because we are not trying to get summertime fine by just having lettuce and tomato. That's just not gonna work for us, right? So my biggest suggestion to you is to make sure you liven up your salad and have those 2 small pieces of tilapia on the side. That's a dream. You can also have this with a little bit of mashed potatoes and a string bean, or mashed potatoes and any type of vegetable, Brussels sprouts. So those are just a few options that I love that I'm sharing with you, and these are just off the top of my head. There are many more to come. Shameless plug, make sure you head over to Instagram and follow us, because several nights, I would say at least 2 or 3 meals a week, I will share with you in my IG stories. I will also share a final reveal of my plated meal on my post, so you can see that. I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you comment below what's your favorite seafood dish to make for your family that's affordable, because we're all looking to be healthy, but we don't want to be broke because of it. So I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Again, love you guys so much for watching. Until next time.